Well, I did get paid almost $500 today, but I confirmed got Judas Priest tickets.
Yeah, I
Huh.
heard. I saw your message. Like, damn, that's a card. Wow,
I mean,
that's
right
a
on the
lot,
floor.
dude.
I mean, I don't want to say too much out in the community, but like 15th row, right there, right center. So I'll be right there.
That's cool. And where are they
March.
playing in downtown Houston?
Nah, in Irving.
Oh, Irving. And how far
Oh,
is that? How far is that from Houston? And
Irving's a suburb of Dallas.
Yeah,
oh,
it's like
wow.
closer to Dallas.
I see there.
It's
So
either
that's
there, San Antonio, or like the Cedar Park,
Austin. Yeah,
Austin
because I
area.
know
Yeah,
that was mentioned there.
but it's definitely worth it. Like the set list, and it's gonna be good. So
All
this is my
right.
Christmas present. It'll be all right.
All right. All right. So we are up
Is
and
is
running.
people on the is people on the comedy albums like would they be like David Allen Coe or what do
No,
you?
no. David Allen Cole is a country artist there.
So it would be like I don't know any. Well, like
Well,
Weird Al then.
we're talking about albums by Bill Cosby, George
Oh,
Carlin, um, Cheech and
actually
Cheech and
Chong,
stand up
yeah,
Chong.
comedy.
Bob, yeah,
Okay,
stand-up
okay,
Yeah.
comedy, yes.
okay.
Lots of
All
good
right.
albums out there. Chris Rock, he had his one, Bring the Pain, and the HBO special to boot with it.
Hmm.
Yeah, a lot of these have they also did shows or little stand up things on HBO and such.
Yeah.
Except for oddly Cheech and Chong. I don't think they ever did a stand up one.
Well, I don't think so, no. But they did live performances, but those were kind of separate from the albums that they did there. I remember because Cheech and Chong were like one of the biggest shots in the when it came to high school humor there. When I
Yeah.
was in high school, me and my old buddy Dennis, we used to do our we did a our we tried recording our version of a Cheech and Chong skit. You remember the Chabornik skit there?
Yeah, I'm trying to remember.
No, Chabornik.
I do
Yes.
remember it.
Yes, the Chabornik. Yes. What is that? No, no. Look like dog shit. Does it
Yeah.
feel like dog shit? What feel? Does it feel like dog shit? Yeah, if it's like dog shit. Taste. What? Taste. Does it taste like dog shit? Yeah, it tastes like dog shit. Good thing we don't step in it. Let's go.
Yeah. We'll start with Cheech and Chong. Of course, there's the old
Absolutely,
famous
yeah.
Dave's. There's the old famous Dave's not here.
Absolutely. That's one of the big ones. I think that was their first album, I believe it was, if I remember.
It's either the first or the second. I don't remember which.
No, no, but
But
I think
yeah, that
may have
was
been the second one, Big Bamboo. That was the highlight. That was the big one of their career there.
yeah. They we can do some remembrances of some of the routines. Did you ever hear Cheech and Chong Flower?
Oh yeah, I saw the movies and stuff, and then like they
Oh
had the
man,
stand up stuff.
classic.
Yeah. Of course, yeah.
My two favorite would have to be Up in Smoke, and especially the next movie, the year later there.
Yeah. And I remember the one where the Pope sketch where they went and talked to the Pope and told him that I forget exactly what the premise was,
Mm.
but for him to be whatever he had to be, that he had to make love to a beautiful woman.
Oh yeah, that was when. But
Yeah.
but
And he says all these conditions and stuff,
must
and
be.
then he answers, but
But
she's got to have the big teeth.
I know there, yeah. I remember that one. That was a classic there. You know, did you ever now you remember the Mex movie, the second one that came out in 1980 there?
Yeah.
I remember I was a big fan of that movie when I watched it on cable a year later after we first got
Well,
that.
did did Sergeant Stadenko make an appearance in that movie too?
No, I don't know if he did or not, but I remember he was
Well,
in
he's
the
big
first
enough.
one. Yeah. He was the absolute there. Who by the way was played by Stacy Keach, by the way, there.
Yeah.
Well respected actor. And I remember when they showed next movie on syndicated TV, the massive amount of edits they had to make for that version
Oh,
there.
yeah.
Oh,
It's
dude.
not worth it.
I know.
Was
It's
it
like, what the
was it just the
fuck?
cuss words or like
Cuss
the more
words,
honest
the
stuff?
references to weed. They replaced it
Oh
with
my god.
bag of diamonds. And in the end, it was like, in the end, it was like they were trying to film this playground park, and I said we did it, and that came. Oh, dude, it was all out. It was all just thrown in at the last minute, man.
Yeah, totally different movie.
Way a totally different version of me and my old buddy Ben Bennett were talking about that. It's like, damn, they edited so much out of that flick there, but it was for a good reason. There, they did the same
Yeah.
thing with the Animal House.
Yeah.
Instead of John Belushi saying, oh shit," when that horse got shot, it was like, holy cow, I don't believe it, you know?
Yeah. But there was a lot of classic routines they did on their albums.
Oh,
Of
yeah.
course, there was Sister Mary Elephant.
Oh, yeah. Oh, that was one of the best ones there. And the sequel with Sergeant Sinenko, that was, gosh,
Yeah.
man. That was one of the best ones there. All the characters, you know. In fact, I think that's when we first saw Paul Rubens. When he went
Really?
make his
He
debut.
could've been- yeah.
Yeah, I believe he was in the second or third movie, if I remember. I think it may have been the second movie. I'm not too sure, man. But that's when we first heard of Paul Rubens. I think but that been prior to him becoming Pee Wee Herman at this point there.
Yeah. Let's see. I was trying to remember
And
some of the other routines off the top of my head on the album.
Yeah.
Earache My Eye.
Oh, classic tune from them. Classic, absolute classic. I first heard that when I saw the Up in Smoke movie there. It's like, that was a badass jam, you know? And you know what? That's had to be. The thing after the tune starts is stopped, you know, ripped off the after rip. You have to listen to the whole skit completely to know what I'm talking about there.
Yeah, that was unbelievable. That was great.
Absolutely,
And of
more
course,
than
there was
great.
Basketball Jones.
Oh yeah, that's another one there. Bloated, you know, a spoof of that 170 song there. I forgot who does it. Float on, float on. But instead of that, they turned it to bloat on, which had a bunch of guys belching back and forth, left and right. It was about eating food, eating sushi, eating this, you know. You name it. I remember there was albums like Big Bamboo, the Wet 8 album. You know, there was also one called "Let's Make a Dope Deal Again." That came out in 1980, just as well there.
Yeah.
And then all of a sudden they decided, I guess, when the 80s started going towards a different direction in terms of, I guess the weed smoking was out, the cocaine was in for some of the yuppies out there,
Right.
and that's when they decided to put it to a halt. I think the last record they actually did was one called "Get Out of My Room," and that's when we had "Born in East L.A.," the Bruce Springsteen parody, which later, a few years later, became a movie that was starred and directed by Cheech Marin himself. Thomas Chong, however, wanted to stick to the same old pod humor. The only time we had saw him was on those occasional appearances on That 70s Show there, and one Peter Frampton video back in '86 there. But Cheech Marin kind of really merged out as an actor. He started in From Dusk Till Dawn. He started in a couple other movies. He was co-host to the show Nash Bridges with Don Johnson in the '90s there.
Yes.
He really, and which by the way,
I remember Stone Cold Steve Austin made a couple appearances on that show.
Yes, he did.
Bridges.
Yes,
And Jeff Daniels, wasn't Jeff Daniels on there too?
I believe so. I never really.
Yeah.
I was at work during that time when that show was being broadcast. But I was working till 11, as I am now. So I believe that's probably definitely. They made a lot of appearances on that show. In fact, the USA Network recently, I guess they recently showed a Nash Bridges TV movie years later on down the line. Nash Bridges has a little whiter hair, goatee, and Cheech Marin's character, I don't know who, he has white hair just as well as Tommy Chong. And when they got back together, started doing shows again. Man, I understand almost the venues that they played were almost sold out because now today, since marijuana acceptance has been on the rise for the many years there, I guess it's safe to say that the weed humor has made a comeback in a lot of ways, along with
Oh
the old
yeah.
classics. Yeah,
Yeah, I know that Tommy Chong basically played himself in
yeah,
that '70s show.
yeah, he
Oh
did.
yeah, I remember that. Yeah.
Yes, I remember in the interview with the People magazine, he said if you smoke pot and eat right, you will live forever. You know,
I mean,
now
basically, like in this community, Tony is the Tommy Chong of the community.
yeah, but at the end
Think
of
about
it,
it.
yeah, it's pretty much, yeah. You got a point there.
Uh,
The way he dresses, the way he looks. The only thing he doesn't do is say, "Hey, man." Hell, I remember Minnesota Vikings fan and his show. They had a character for a short while named Chong, which was actually one of their boys, Redneck, playing that part. And Cheech and Chong still good buddies to this very day. Good business partners and comedy partners just as well there.
Yeah, and that's basically albums that are still worth to listen to now, even though they're dated. They're not
Dated.
totally
Not really
dated.
dated. Not really dated. They still hold up to this day there.
Yeah.
Yeah. I want to get into someone that,
Real
you
quick,
know.
real
Go
quick.
ahead.
I'm gonna let me give you my piece on that, and then till this day, bro, Cheech and Chong, they're so much part of just
Culture. The high, I guess they're called the high on culture. That's what my dad used to call it there a couple times in the past.
Yeah, there's some of those people that their comedy basically never dies.
Yeah. Never gets tired, never gets old, timeless. Needless to say, timeless.
Yeah, which is another guy I want to talk about now
Yeah.
is George Carlin.
George Carlin. And he was really up on, I guess he started out as a regular comedian, and I guess he reemerged in the 70s as a lot more vulgar language. And then during the last few years of his life, all the routines he was doing in his comedy skits were always about, politics, how the left is, how the right is, how either liberals and
Well, he basically
conservatives.
turned into a crabby old man, but he's still funny.
Yeah, he was. How the corporations own you and you not owning the corporations. He often did skits about that a lot of times.
Yeah. I mean, a lot of his albums are classic gold even now.
Hmm.
But heck, his HBO specials.
Well, absolutely good. Carlin at Carnegie Hall. That was one of our favorites.
Yeah, I think there was like 15 or 20 of them. I don't know. I
don't
don't
know.
know.
I'm
There's a
sorry.
bunch of them.
He did so many of them.
I was just gonna say about the Cheech and Chong thing. There's so much a part of what is the word? Just American. I don't want to say culture, but I guess in a way, just the whole. They're just very popular.
Folklore.
Folklore, yeah, just all that. They're just very popular. A lot of appearances and different shows or commercials. Just everyone knows who
Absolutely,
they
yeah.
are, So.
Dancing with the Stars.
Mm.
I think Tommy Chong was on Dancing with the Stars.
Really?
Wow.
I didn't know about that. Got to look
Yeah,
that up.
like 2 or 3 years ago.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, that's kind of not a show I follow much, but yeah, that would be interesting.
Oh, wow. Got to definitely look into that, man. That's for sure there.
Yeah.
All right, now, in fact, I'll take a look at it right now on here. Blah, 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 blah.
Because a lot of the staff at the place where I live, they love Dancing with the Stars.
Yeah, I was looking at them right now. And apparently, wait for the images to come up. And yep, he was on there. He was on that show. Looks pretty good for his age when you look at it there. Very good.
Yep. Oh, 7 years ago.
Oh, wow.
Time flew
Interesting.
by.
Wow.
Hmm.
Interesting. You remember that guy who did that the most interesting man commercials, or that one Don Ellis beer? He kind of Tommy Chong kind of resembles him in a lot of ways.
Yeah, I
In
used
some
to
of
like
these
those
photos.
commercials.
Yeah, I did.
They make an absolutely absurd situation, and the guy was there.
Yep. And then we don't see him no more. I don't know why.
I don't need it. That was a pretty good campaign.
I know.
Yeah, every once in a while they do a pretty good campaign that you kind of look forward to the commercials, or you at least when you see them, you go like, huh, almost clever.
My favorite still today remains the original Vittle Coke commercial with Chaz Parabi. What's his last name pronounced? That actor. Who talks like this, man? Your curiosity has come the best to you.
What?
Yeah, look up the Vanilla Coke commercial, 2001. You see what I'm talking about? That actor's name there.
Huh. I don't recall those off the top
Sound
of
like
my
the
head.
guy off of you sound like the guy off of what's that show? The Italian show.
I think so. Yeah. The Sopranos.
Yeah, no, not the other one. I told you not to fucking do that, Tony.
Okay.
That
Chaz. Well, let me look his name up. Chaz Palminteri, I think his name. Palminteri. He was also last time he was appeared was on a couple episodes of Law and Order Organized Crime with Christopher Meloni.
Mm.
Unfortunately, his character gets killed during the mid-season there. You know, but I remember those a bit. You'll definitely look up those Vittle Coke commercials from 2001 when that product first came out there. Yep, pretty good actor there. He's an actor.
next on.
No, go ahead.
Yeah, it's kind of hard to think of memorable ads 'cause most of the time we
Ignore we ignore them. We ignore them because they're all some of those commercials were good, but the rest, needless to say, there. All right, so there's one person I want to get to. I had a lot of this gentleman's comedy albums, even though I don't really want to consider him a gentleman nowadays because of what he did.
Bill Cosby.
Bill Cosby, yeah. I had his earlier albums from the 1960s. He had.
I used to absolutely love his material.
Absolutely, so did I.
Now,
go ahead.
Do y'all still like support him and love him now, or do y'all believe in all the stuff that happened? Like, do y'all look at him differently, or?
I do. We look at him different now because I said this many times before. He could have sought help for this dark fetish that he had because you got to remember, this is a man that was christened America's favorite dad. He preached it about seeking knowledge. He preached it about going to colleges and furthering your education. He spoke out against the blacks in the inner cities, called each other the N-word, stealing Coca-Cola, quote unquote. He spoke out against a lot of things that were all wrong in society. But yet here he was, drugging all these different women, models.
Even women Quaaludes and shit, for God's sake.
I know, exactly. And taking advantage of them while they were unconscious. Which considers...
You believe that's all... You believe that's all true and everything? Like, he really did that for real? That was a cancel culture thing?
All of the evidence seems to point that it was a real thing.
All right.
I mean, I'm not going to personally judge him or anything of that nature.
Yeah.
But it's, I don't know.
It's a hard thing to talk about.
It is, because we were never there when it happened. But apparently, according to Ken, when they did on one of those early shows of FMN, he did say that somehow Richard Pryor knew what was up.
Which is another guy that's worth talking about. He was good.
Ooh.
Yeah, absolutely, man. I had a couple of his albums. But back to Bill Cosby. The albums I had from him was Revenge, Wonderfulness. Bill Cosby is a very funny fellow, right? I started out as a child, and I later got albums from the used record store like 200 Miles and a couple others.
Why Is There Air?
Yep, yep. I had that as well there. I also had... an album that was subtitled the Sports Album that came out on a different record label. Yeah, it was simply called Bill Cosby, but it was. I also had another one called For Adults Only, which had no cuss words in it, by the way. And it was basically about subjects that were deemed towards adults, but in a clean nature.
Yeah, that was a good album actually.
Yeah, it was absolutely. Like the
Kind
best
of
thing
like
is, yeah,
you know how like Kevin Hart. It's like almost not family friendly comedy, but kind of like the whole family type comedy in a way. Like,
yeah,
Kevin Hart's not really. He's kind of comparable to me to like a Bill Cosby. Semi wholesome, but they
yeah,
don't really. I mean, yeah, I guess what's his name, Cosby's. Kevin Hart, but like
yeah,
it's that same style of comedy, like everyday life, marriage and all
yeah,
that shit. You know what I'm
yes,
saying?
yes.
Yeah, it's man, it's hard for me to sit here and remember some of the Cosby routines. Chicken Heart was great.
Oh my gosh, a classic.
Tonsils.
Oh yeah, I remember that one too. But
And
the game
I
of
don't
Buck
remember
Buck,
do what?
the game of Buck Buck.
Oh yeah, yeah.
Oh yeah, you have to look for the album Revenge on YouTube if it's up on there. It's up to see
That's
what
where
I'm
you find
talking
out
about.
about Fat Albert.
Absolutely. In fact, a lot of the characters that he talked about on those earlier albums will later merge into the TV show, the animated TV show that they did in the 70s, Fat Albert and the Cosby Kids. Old Red Harold, Mushmouth, Rudy, Russell.
It's a shame that his troubles spoiled that show because that show was a great one for kids.
It was, yeah. They had a lot of lessons to word. Don't be a bully. Don't smoke weed or do drugs. Don't mess with the police officer. He's only doing his job.
Yeah, there's a lot of great messages there, and they basically got ruined.
Yeah, no. All the what this whole bullshit that occurred for the past couple of years, needless to say, tarnished his image. And this was years of work that he did in the entertainment world. From
Oh
his
yeah,
comedy routines, his comedy shows, albums, the movies he did with Sidney Poitier. Remember Uptown Saturday Night, the sequel, Let's Do It Again. Some of
yeah,
the ones he did in the 80s, like Ghost Dad, Leonard Part 6, there were bombs, but at the same time, he did massive amounts of work. All that tarnished for life by this one fetish that he supposedly had. Or something that I said here many times he should have at least got help for. Because Jesus, man, you were the one true role model for everybody, not just
Yeah.
black males, black people out there, but white
African
people as
American
well.
males. Right.
Absolutely, absolutely, he was a role model. If I was in that position, I would do everything I can to keep my ass in check 24/7. Because
yeah,
especially nowadays when the whole world is watching you, not just tabloid magazines, but people on Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, and such. Think about that.
It's
It's
true.
it's true, absolutely.
yeah.
Uh,
Well, a couple other people I'll just kind of mention if you want to talk about them a little bit.
all right,
Great, if not, eh.
yeah.
Margaret Cho.
Margaret Cho, yeah. I don't really haven't really had any, so we watched some of her stuff there. When I first got a look at her, like she's a cute little gal there doing stand up there. Rose, in fact, I think wasn't she sponsored by Shirley Bass? What's her name? Shirley, what's her face there? The waitress at Ron's place and on the sitcom What's Happening?
Like, I was going way back.
Oh yeah, we go way back there.
Yeah, but that's the good days, bro. That's, man.
Yeah,
Yeah.
Man.
we used to watch a lot of comedy sitcoms all the time, whether it's Sanford and Son, What's Happening, there were shows like Newhart, Mary Tyler Moore Show,
Oh, Newhart was a classic.
yeah,
Oh my
Bob
God.
Newhart, and we cannot forget the routine that I guess Rob, what's his name, Carl Reiner and Mel Brooks
Oh,
did
yeah.
the 10,000 year
Yeah,
old man, I think it was called.
yeah.
Man, That's what's up in there.
And you also had Andrew Dice Clay.
Oh yeah.
Ooh,
Lots.
Ken's favorite over there.
Oh
You know
yeah,
it's Ken's favorite.
Yeah,
Good
and
guy.
I guess the Super Ugly Show's favorite as well there, if I'm correct.
Yeah.
And of course,
I mean, the guy did some things that were, to me, incredibly funny.
yeah, but the people were so busy paying attention to the remarks towards women, to even see through that. They didn't want to see through the way he spoke about women as hoes and everything else. But then again, you got to remember, he was on a talk show and explained that all was going on around him. Remember, you learn from what you see, folks.
Well, a lot of times it's his routines too. I mean, it's part of who he is.
Yeah.
When I say who he is as a routine.
Yeah.
I mean, it's like the screaming bit he did. It was part of his act,
Mm-hmm. And of course, Sam Kinison, I guess he had some issues with Andrew Dice Clay because, he said, Andrew Dice, he stole some of my jokes. And he was another one who had a interesting routine, that scream he used to do during his live performances. And also the albums he'd come out
That's
with.
that Joe Cronin type shit, bro.
Exactly.
What are you doing after the show?
I know, man. I remember that there. And so what's kind of funny, Sam Kinison also had a rock music career when you look up at it. His cover version of Wild Thing with some of the lyrics changed over. He did the same with Mississippi Queen, the Mountain Classic. And he had an album called, it was Portrait of the Dam, where he was like side one was a comedy routine, and side two was all basically cover tunes of songs like Gonna Raise Hell by Cheap Trick, and Mississippi Queen was another one that I mentioned.
I'm trying to remember which video it was, but he had a video that had Jessica Hahn in it.
Oh yeah, I think that may have been a Wild Thing. I think they were romantic. Yeah, I think they were romantically involved at one point, if I'm correct.
Yeah, I remember her rolling all over the place in that video, and I'm sitting there going, okay.
Yeah, absolutely, And it's to say that, he grew up in a Christian family, so deep down inside he may have been a Christian, but the comedy routine that he would do was his way of letting out all whatever frustrations, whatever issues he had with this woman or this incident or that there, But the problem is, he also had a drug issue along just as well there.
Yeah.
I guess he finally beat that before his death in '92 there.
Yeah. And of course, there's the man that gets no respect.
Rodney Dangerfield.
Yeah.
Rappin'
There's a
Rodney.
couple of
Remember the
YouTube-
video for Rappin' Rodney?
No.
I saw that video there. It was the kind of funny thing. He came up with little words, and verses like, I called the suicide hotline. They put me on hold.
Yeah. Well, his whole routine was basically a rap. If you really think about it, I mean, it's just one-liner after one-liner after one-liner after one-liner.
Absolutely. Don Rickles, he was a good one there. Remember his show CPO Sharky on TV?
I loved that show.
I loved the hell out of that show. It was sad to see that go. Another TV show I used to watch, Chico and the Man, with the late Freddie Prinze Sr.
Yeah, of course. Obviously, that show was canceled for
tragic reason there.
Yeah.
Freddie Prinze Sr., or Freddie Prinze, it was back then, before his son Junior would come into merge.
Yeah.
He would he shot himself for some reason.
Rodney Dangerfield had a couple of 3 movies too. And I remember, I vividly remember one called Easy Money where he had
Yes, I remember.
Yeah.
Yes.
And then there's obviously Caddyshack, and then wasn't there one called Ladybug or something? Ladybug?
I think so, yeah.
But his biggest one was... Go ahead.
I was going to say his movies were basically one-liners, but they were fun.
Yeah, but his big one was Back to School back in 1986 there. And along with his cover of Twist and Shout. It's kind of funny is that song had a massive re-emergence on the charts because of that movie, as well as the Beatles version being in Ferris Bueller's Day Off.
Yeah. A lot of people don't know the original, which I think was the Isley Brothers.
Yes, it was the Isley Brothers. I remember hearing that at one time, a couple of times in the past there.
But I don't know what kind of person I am for thinking of this. But in Easy Money, the scene most memorable to me was when he goes out in his balcony or whatever and was able to see his next door neighbor, which is, if you know who she is, Kimberly MacArthur, sunbathing nude.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, because she's massively endowed, let's say.
Wow, I see there. Yeah. Sadly, and Rodney no longer with us, unfortunately, there. What year did he pass away, I think it was?
I honestly don't know.
I think in the Keith, can you look that up real quick?
Yes.
It's the last 20 years for sure.
Yes. Okay, look what.
Yeah, go ahead there.
Hello?
He's asking what to look up.
Yeah, the year that,
Rodney Dangerfield died.
yes.
Oh, okay.
There's some real memorable stuff on YouTube with him on the Johnny Carson show too, where
Absolutely.
he just keeps going and going on Johnny, and Johnny just, it's like, wow.
Wow, dude.
October 5th, 2004.
Yeah, I remember hearing that, man. Wow. It was another one that will be missed there. As in, I think I said that before, but still, it's no doubt about that.
Well, another guy that's kind of fun to watch, especially if you can catch some of his stand-up stuff, because he has help, is Jeff Dunham.
Oh, I remember my ex-girlfriend told me about this guy. When it was, he's a ventriloquist. If I said,
Yeah.
did I say that right there? Ventriloquist.
Ventriloquist?
Yes, thank you. I have my pronunciation is like at the times there. He was he kind of like picked up where Edgar Bergen left off when it needless to say there from many years
he's
ago
got
there.
standard characters, and I think most people's favorite is Walter.
I am. The other
If
one,
you're familiar with Walter.
I've heard
if
of
you're
Walter.
familiar with
Yeah,
Walter.
yes, I have seen Walter a couple of times. His other one would have to be Akim. What's his name?
Yeah, the
Akim?
terrorist.
Yeah, the dead.
Ahmed, the dead terrorist.
Yeah, I know. Yeah, silent. I kill you. That was one of his favorite one-liners.
But Walter's kind of like the
Grumpy.
the grumpy old grandfather you used to have.
Yeah, exactly. You're grumping over everything in sight there.
Yeah. And he's a lot of fun because you can just sit there and kind of watch him go, yeah, I can see that.
Yeah, absolutely. And there were a lot of grumpy people, grumpy old people in one of the neighborhoods we lived in, I remember. So I think it may have been in Roseville where we lived in. There was this couple old cats there who was grumpy as hell over everything there. It's like, screw this guy there.
Yeah.
Joe Cronin used to have a guy on his show called Grumpy Nerdy.
Grumpy
Not
nerd.
take
Grumpy
pictures.
nerd. The grumpy nerd. Yes, I remember him.
Yep.
I wonder how he's doing because the last time I heard of him was on Ken's program a couple years back. He was asking about the T-shirt that I was wearing at that time.
Yep. I didn't really like him on the show.
Yeah, I remember that montage this 161 where him and Skunty there went off on one another, back and forth there.
Oh, all right.
Yep. He was also eager to meet this Scott guy, and all of a sudden he's like, fuck this son of a bitch.
Oh, yeah, I remember that.
Absolutely. That's when JB first retired from that show as a result of Skunty there.
Yep. Yeah, I remember that.
I guess JB is not really back in the mainstream yet.
No, I guess
No.
not. I'm not sure. We missed the guy. He was, during my moments of unemployment, I would listen to his afternoon show, see what kind of bullshit. Yeah.
So he was in the mix, JB, like a couple months ago, because Joe paid him like $300.
Yes, I remember for that episode of Monetize This.
And like I think he was on for one more, and then we haven't heard from him since. I think maybe that was in the summertime or some shit. But
Yeah, so I understand as well that him and Joe were supposed to do some shows together, but Joe had made this announcement that things weren't working out, so that's that, you know. And I guess JB was like, "Fuck
he
this."
tweeted out like, "Oh, no more JB." The numbers have like he was expecting the numbers to get bigger, but they weren't when JB was there. Like
I know.
I don't know if it was working or like working us or whatever, Joe. But anyways, back to.
But then again, you know how Joe is. He's likes to so-called work us. By the way. And by the way, you saw that little screenshot I sent you last night, Wire, of him blocking me. Joe Crony, that is. Crony, as I come down call him.
Oh,
yeah. Yeah. Gosh.
Okay, another guy that's interesting to talk about is Bill Engvall.
Bill Engvall. I remember hearing his name.
Your
yes.
sign.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's funny. He talks about things stupid people do, and then they call him on it and said, "Here's your sign."
Mm-hmm.
That way, stupid people are supposed to be carrying a sign around.
Absolutely. Yeah. I see what you're talking about. Was stupid and pointed at themselves there. You also got to. Speaking of which, we got to include Jeff Foxworthy.
Oh yeah.
Larry the Cable Guy, Ron White. You know, I remember they had Blue Collar TV running on TV for a while there.
Yeah.
I remember Jeff Foxworthy from that TV show Are You Smarter Than a Fifth Grader?
Yeah, that was that game show that he was a host of.
He got real big like in 2000s, mid 2000s when they toured together.
Yeah.
Ron White, remember him?
Yes.
That was my favorite out of the whole bunch, personally. But
Larry the Cable Guy. When I lived in Richmond, the term "get her done" was used a lot around the area there.
Yeah, all those guys had a catchphrase of some sort. You know, Jeff Foxworthy, you might be a redneck.
And we know.
Okay.
Absolutely there.
And Ron White talked about
alcohol.
No, they call me tater salad.
Oh my gosh, I remember that because a lot of times he would talk about being drunk, and that's when he was used that word. When they use those two words, they call me tater salad. I guess the whole thing was.
Yeah, that was a pretty good routine.
Okay, tater salad. If you had a son, what was you going to name him? Tater Tot?
Yeah. Yeah. Well, they were that whole thing was funny. I mean, there was another guy on there too, but I can't remember his name off the top of my head.
Neither can I either.
But they had a fourth guy. I just can't remember who it was.
Yeah, it was there. I'll probably look it up there. We also got to acknowledge Sinbad.
Yeah.
Because he was a good comedian. I remember seeing one of his TV shows. Back in the night, I was blah blah. Hold up there. I remember. There we go. It's coming up there. Sinbad. I saw an HBO special, and he did a lot of good stuff there. It was a pretty good stuff there, when you look at it.
Yeah.
Yeah. Bill Engvall that you mentioned, he was the fourth man in that whole lineup there.
Well, no, I was thinking him. It was another guy. Because Ron White and Larry the Cable Guy, I don't think we're ever on together. I think Ron White was on first, and then Larry the Cable Guy replaced him. But there used to be a group of four, I think it was.
Yes, I remember
who the fourth one was.
I'm looking on the Wikipedia right now. It's popping up pretty soon there.
With Larry the Cable Guy,
yes.
I love that thing. I love that bit he did about Walmart.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
I remember the Larry Cable Guy. One of his big phrases was, "Lord, I apologize."
Yeah.
He did that a lot of times there. Let's see. It was created by Fax Barr and Adam Small, in addition to J.P. Williams and Jeff Foxworthy himself. Blue collar is a U.S. phrase to describe manual laborers, as opposed to white collar or office professional workers.
Right.
Yeah.
But don't they tell who was on that?
Well, it started, Foxworthy, Engvall, Larry the Cable Guy. The show's humor dealt primarily with contemporary American society and especially hillbilly, redneck, and southern stereotypes. It was greenlighted
Right.
on the heels of the success of the Blue Collar Comedy Tour, in which all three actors toured in the early 2000s.
For some reason, I had a fourth guy involved, but I guess I was wrong.
Oh yeah, who knows? I'm still looking for it. There's so many other actors included there. Well, let's see. There was we know Foxworthy, Cable Guy, Engvall. They also included Brooke Dillman, Ashley Drain, Ada Field, Heath. Can't pronounce his name. Hyche, Peter Oldring, Gary Anthony Williams, and Scott Miller, and the Commonwealth, the house band.
Hmm.
That was the
I
band
don't
that
remember any of the other people.
neither did I. I hardly watched it myself. I wasn't that much
I
of a
watched it a lot, but I don't remember those other guys.
Right there. I never I remember around the time I wasn't really paying attention to TV. I was always out doing things, going places.
Right. Right.
Yeah.
Well, another comedy troupe.
Oh, I wasn't done with
That it-
Sinbad
that-
yet. I got to mention him. He also was. First time I heard of him was on the Bill Cosby show spin-off, A Different World, which briefly started Lisa Bonet, and later on Kadeem Harrison, who played Dwayne Wayne, who later did some other movies, like a couple of Winans parody movies there, like I'm Going to Get You Sucker from '87. Remember that one there?
Yeah.
Keenan Ivory Wymans, we got to acknowledge him as well. The comedy movies that he did, spoofing, scary movies, 1, 2, 3, I'm Going to Get You Sucker, and a few others there. Tyler Perry, some of his comedy movies there with a little bit of drama on the side include, the one and only Medea.
Oh, yeah.
Yep. And he also spawned a couple of TV shows as well, like House of Pain, Meet the Browns. I remember seeing a couple of those when I was with my ex-girlfriend back in Detroit around the 2011, 2012 there.
What do you guys think of Sebastian Maniscalco?
I don't think I've heard of them.
He's a relatively new comedian. I like him a lot. He's a stand-up comedian.
I haven't really paid too much to the new comedy that's really out there.
Not yet, anyway.
Yeah.
The next troupe I was going to mention was a comedy team called the Fire Sign Theater.
Oh my goodness, I had a lot of their albums.
Waiting for the Electrician or Someone Like Him.
How
Don't
Can You
Crush That Dwarf.
Hand Me the Pliers? That was my favorite from them. I think we're all bozos on this bus. Not Insane, which was a collection of live recordings that they did for various performances at various colleges.
I think he broke the president.
Yeah, absolutely. And plus, Dear Friends, which was bits and skits from a couple radio shows that they did at that time as well there. And of course, we cannot, the one I was going to mention, what was it called? Oh, yeah. How can you be at two places at the same time when you're not going
anywhere at all?
Yep, absolutely. Yeah. That's what we heard of.
Which one of those had Nick Danger on it?
Yeah, the one I just meant. The one I just mentioned.
Yeah, that was a great skit.
It was, yeah. And sadly, two of the members are no longer with us there. I think it was Phil Lawson. Yeah, I guess it may have been also David. Well, I think the ones that are left are Phil Proctor and David Osmond. I think Peter Bergman is no longer with us, if I'm correct.
Yeah.
As well as Phil Lawson.
But they had, I think, like 20 albums or more.
A lot of albums.
The giant rat of Sumatra.
Oh yeah.
Whoa. Dr. Earl, you look good with your haircut.
Thank you very much.
You're welcome.
Were you watching some of my videos there?
No, I was just looking at some thumbnails.
All right, there. Oh, well, I see on my channel there. I see what you're talking about there. Yeah,
Yes.
the lady at the shop there last week there, she went a little bit too far, I guess, unfortunately there. So for the time being, I was just like slicking it back until some of it grows out a little bit there. It's gonna be like taking time there. I cut it because it was interfering with my job, which is in the dairy cooler most of the time. It was getting in my eyes and everything.
Oh, all right.
Yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Cool.
But as I mentioned, I'm sticking it back for the time being there.
All right.
Yeah.
Then, of course, you got Bill Hicks.
Oh yeah, I've heard about him as well. There, he's deceased as
Yeah.
well, if I'm correct.
Yes.
Oh yeah, because I remember there was a documentary on him on Comedy Central, and I guess they were interviewing everybody from fellow comedians, including David Letterman, just as well. There was a little situation between those two.
Yeah. And, of course, there's Bill Burr.
Bill Burr, who I understand was in The Mandalorian on a couple episodes.
Yeah, I've seen some of his stuff. He's funny, too.
Mm. Now, wasn't Joe Rogan a comedian just as well, if I'm correct?
I believe so.
Yeah, because I remember hearing about that a couple times on the various shows there. I think Crony may have been mentioned that a couple here and there.
It's true.
Then, of course, we got to mention the famous guy who thought he was a wrestler.
Let's see.
Andy
Oh
Kaufman.
my gosh,
Yeah.
Andy Kaufman. We definitely got to acknowledge him because before Cyndi Lauper put wrestling in the mainstream, Andy Kaufman, comedian and star of the show Taxi, he was involved with the Memphis Territory Wrestling in an on-screen feud with Jerry the King Lawler, taking side with Jimmy Hart before he joined the WWF and became the mouth of the South there. And it's like, he was like one of the big heels at that time there. In fact, there was an incident where Lawler and Kaufman were on the Letterman show, and Kaufman was just running his mouth here and there and there and here, and Lawler just came up, just smacked the hell out of him. Bam.
Well,
Yeah,
y'all were I don't, I'm not
Teenagers.
This is no disrespect to y'all, but like y'all were watching this live, right, on TV.
This
when
is true.
happened.
Yeah, it was.
So,
Yeah, that was one of the best angles, most believable angles ever.
Yes,
I
in the
mean,
pro wrestling
You
spectrum.
bought it. A lot of the
Right.
stuff you see nowadays, you don't buy.
Because
you're
it's
just
all been
watching- you kinda-
been exposed. We all know it's fake. We all know if kayfabe is dead and that.
right.
Yeah.
But it was a lot more fun sometimes back then when you saw some of this stuff and you saw some of the things going on and you were like,
Damn.
if this
Holy cow, bro.
if this is not real,
They sure did a
doing
damn
pretty
good job making it look real, that's for sure.
Especially the Kaufman Lawler thing.
Oh, my
That
gosh.
was incredible.
Beyond incredible. In fact, you remember the movie Man on the Moon, which starred Jim Carrey
Yeah.
as Andy Kaufman? Jim Carrey actually got injured during when he was filming this scene where Kaufman and Laura was in a wrestling match together. And I guess, Carrey ended up with some neck issues, I guess, after that, because I guess Laura went a little too far. I guess those, if I understand, the memories of Kaufman were coming back to him, I guess.
Yeah.
Yeah. But you don't want to piss off a pro wrestler, man. You don't.
Oh, no.
No.
Fake or not, those guys are built right. They have to be.
Yeah, absolutely. To take all those poundings on the cabas. Just ask,
Yeah.
just ask John Stossel on what happened to him back in 1985 when he tried to expose the business. Oh, it's on YouTube, folks. Whap! I'll give you
Yeah.
that's a clue right there, man.
Yeah. Does this sound fake to you?
Yep. Oh man.
Yeah, I know that. Well, the other thing about Kaufman you mentioned too was he was Latka Gravis on Taxi and was very good at that.
Absolutely. He was one of the most memorable actors next to Tony Danza and Danny DeVito and Mary Lou Henner.
To me, the most memorable guy on that show was Christopher Lloyd.
Yeah, I was going to say he was part of that
loved
show.
Reverend
Yes,
Jim.
absolutely. There.
Reverend Jim, that was just a great bit. I think my favorite was when he was taking his driver's test,
Oh,
and they all went with him.
oh,
And
wow.
he's you can look it up on YouTube.
Hmm.
But he's sitting up there, and he asks him, "What does the yellow light mean?" And they look at him and goes, "Slow down." He sits there for a second and goes, "What does a yellow light mean?" I
Oh,
say, slow down. And he goes, "What does a yellow light?"
oh my gosh,
mean?
dude.
And
Damn.
the whole bit is just hilarious.
For
When
some
you watch him
reason,
in character doing that.
oh my gosh. For some reason, that when I can imagine Bullfrog taking his very first driving lesson and doing exactly that. Oh my gosh.
But that's possibly one of my favorite Taxi bits is that
Oh,
driver's test scene.
Oh, yeah.
Because there's more to it, but that particular part of it I remembered because that was just, to me, just absolutely drop dead hilarious.
Oh yeah. We also got to acknowledge a couple of my favorites there. Red Fox and Richard Pryor.
Oh, yeah.
Oh yeah, Red Fox was a comedian in his own right when he was not doing shows like
Wait a
Sanford and
minute.
Son.
Like,
What?
let me interrupt you real quick. Weren't they? When you consider Red Fox, your Richard Pryor's maybe the first? I don't want to say first comedians, but just I don't know. Maybe the first mainstream comedians, or like what? Maybe did they start at all? Like who? Do y'all know the answer to that?
I
Like,
don't
who
really know
made-
who started it all, to be honest with you. But there were comedians back in the 19s that were making movies and not albums, basically. We're talking about people like Laurel and Hardy, W.C. Fields, my favorites, the Three Stooges. You know, that was going back to the 30s and 40s there. You know, there were a lot of interesting. And we also cannot forget Charlie Chaplin. Charlie Chaplin.
Yeah.
Yeah, he was one of the first really comedians, on-screen comedians at that time to really break it big.
Yeah.
And he also had a little bit of shadiness to himself. He had married, a couple of underage girls when he was in his prime there.
Yeah. Of course, you got Eddie Murphy. You can put.
Absolutely.
You can name him with Pryor and.
Oh yeah,
and Fox.
the show Delirious that aired on HBO. A lot, the material from that album came out on the release entitled Eddie Murphy Comedian. And a lot of that was when we first heard about the gay uproar because of some of the gay jokes that were mentioned on that TV special there. He mentioned in a movie called Raw, which was another comic live performance, that you remember Delirious? People go, yeah. So many people were coming at me left and right because of the homosexual jokes that I was making. I would go to a club and all the gay people like giving him the evil eye there, here, there.
Yeah.
But
Do you guys think that at concerts, the audience should not sing along with the songs?
No, they should.
Okay.
Are we in music now?
I was going to ask.
Oh, I don't know. You said something that made me think of that.
Oh, okay.
I don't know what it was. But
That's
it was
okay.
something I heard on NPR too, I think the other day.
Oh. everybody should can have the right to sing along to whichever song is being played on by whether it's live or recording or whichever there.
All right.
Hell, I remember one time there. We was at a place called Clutch Cargo's when it was called Industry, waiting for a band called Pigface to perform. And for some reason, when they played the song NWO by Ministry, everybody started moshing and started stage diving for no reason.
Oh yeah.
And this was way before the band even showed up to play.
Yeah.
Oh.
Yeah.
Okay, we mentioned him a while ago because he had two highly successful television shows and one pretty decent one. Bob Newhart, he also had some comedy albums.
Oh yeah, I remember seeing those. He was on the same label as Bill Cosby was, Warner Brothers at that time.
Yeah, yeah. And as far as the Newhart shows go, I don't know how you would rank them because, well, all three of them were pretty good. The third one just didn't play more than a year.
I know he was like a mainstay at CBS television for many years.
And he was on The Big Bang Theory for a little while.
Yeah, yeah.
Which was kind of weird,
But then again,
but he played himself, which is what made it funny.
Absolutely, yeah. One episode I want to check out from that show is when you have both Carrie Fisher and James Earl Jones, and it's going to be billed as Princess Leia and Darth Vader.
Yeah. Yeah, I actually saw that episode.
Yeah, really interesting
The nerdy one, the Sheldon.
Yes.
Wanted to meet James Earl Jones because
he was the voice of Darth Vader, obviously there. But let's
You
not
know.
forget the other stuff he's did other than that. He was in Roots. He was in A Soul Man with C. Thomas Howell in the 80s there. Coming to America with Eddie Murphy and Arsenio Hall.
of course the whole bit was, he was bugging him. He finally went to the restaurant and James Earl Jones looked at him and says, I forget the exact line, but it's something like, you like Star Wars, don't you? Or something like that, because he was acting the part of a
Darth Vader.
Don't bug me while I'm eating.
Oh yeah.
And of course Sheldon stands there and he either shakes his head or says or whatever. And James Earl Jones says, well, I like Star Wars too. Have a seat. And the rest of the episode is about the two of them kind of palling around a little bit.
I see there, yeah.
Which is pretty kind of funny. But the way Jamie Lee Curtis comes into it.
Oh, wow.
Not Jamie Lee Curtis.
Carrie Fisher.
Carrie Fisher comes into it. Sorry, they look alike. Kind of. But anyway, the way she comes into it is James Earl Jones takes him and says, you want to have some fun? Go watch this. And they go to her house, knock on the door, and run. and she comes running out, and she's stalling about, is that you, James, or something like that? I know that's you. Quit doing that, or something like that.
Oh man, gosh!
But it's actually a pretty funny episode. I don't know if that's a show you normally watch.
I saw a highlight of it on YouTube there.
But that's a pretty funny episode, actually.
It is. Rest in peace, Carrie Fisher. You are indeed missed by everybody around you, including us. She was one of the first princesses, to not be one of those damsels in distress. Oh, help me, please save me from the bad guy. She would take up a few blasters and shoot the shit out of those Imperial troopers. As the stormtroopers just as well there.
And of course, who could forget her on the Jabba the Hutt scene?
Oh my gosh, that golden bikini, man, that's still talked about today and still cosplayed. All the female cosplayers often love doing that, that's for sure there.
Yeah. That's definitely a memorable scene. What can we say?
Yeah, it was there. Yes. All right, there. So, I think we have pretty much wrapped it up for the time being. There. I think, unless
Put in a few
anybody.
more, but we can get them.
What
We
again?
can do a part 2, I suppose.
If you was to, we could probably do that. This. I think. Wire, you mentioned about doing something on the next show. I guess it was for concert
But it's,
festivals.
yeah, we can either do that Thursday or wait till Monday. It doesn't matter to me.
Okay, there. What would you prefer, Wire? Doing a part 2 of our comedy series there, or just get to the festivals, rock festivals on that day there? Wire?
Did we lose him?
I think he's on mute at the moment there. Yeah, because there was
Keith there?
yeah, I think Keith is still there. I think he is.
I'm still here.
Sounds like you.
There you are, dude.
Oh, okay.
There you are, dude. Wire is on
Yep.
mute. We was going to ask, did you want to did you want to continue our comedy series on this coming Thursday, or did you want to do the rock festivals on that day? Because I know IR mentioned about that earlier today, during the broadcast. So I figure if Wire wants to do that on Thursday, we could hold off part 2 till the next Monday there.
Yeah, it kind of, I guess, depends on his schedule.
Yeah, that's true there. And I've had to wait for him to be unmuted there before we find out for sure. But
I
Richard,
don't care which day it is.
well, either way, Richard Pryor, I got to get to him there. I had a few of his albums, his greatest hits album. Some of the albums I had from him was on the indie label titled Laugh Records, spelled
Yeah.
LAFF. Like, Are You Serious? That record label had some interesting content on there. They had the albums by LaWanda Page, who played on Esther and Sanford and Son. She had a couple of comedy albums as well there. There was a joint album they'd have with skits by Richard Pryor and Red Fox on there, doing various skits. One skit after another. It's like first a Fox skit, then a Pryor skit, then a Fox skit, so on and so on and so on there. And
A lot of the Red Fox albums were basically his stand-up act.
I know, yes, absolutely there.
And I don't know how many there were, but there were a ton of them. I had a lot of them myself.
And they were vulgar as well there. Very vulgar as well there.
Absolutely.
There was this thing called, he talked about a pill that you take called Rise. But you gotta swallow it very quickly because your neck will get hard if the pill gets stuck. And years later on, what do we get? A pill that make it rise when you think about it.
Yeah.
And we all know its color, blue.
Now there's
Well-
a new. It's called Blue Chew.
Blue Chew?
Yep. It's,
I thought you said Bluetooth, and I was going to, hey, wait, no, that's not
Bluetooth?
it.
Bluetooth? You wear Bluetooth when all of a sudden your pecker gets hard?
I'm
Looks like,
talking about
holy cow.
Bluetooth.
Oh, yeah, that's what I'm talking about.
So the next episode, you want to confirm to do the festivals, guys?
Well,
You know what?
yeah, we got YR back?
Yeah, he's back.
Here, I was just I'm in a family issue here.
Oh, okay, there.
Okay.
All
Well,
right.
do you want to do festivals or comedy part 2?
I didn't. All right. Well, let's finish up with the comedy.
Okay,
Um,
there.
And then we do the festivals Monday, because
Good, yes.
Monday's a bigger draw anyway, so that'd be cool.
All right, there, definitely.
So we're going to finish up the comedy next time.
All right, there. All right, we could definitely do that next Monday, you said?
Yeah.
Good.
No,
No. what?
Thursday.
Thursday. Okay, there we go. There, I want to get away because I had to take care of something myself there in my room here. All right, so definitely, we will continue our comedy series. You'll look at the great comedians of all time there, current, past, present, future, and we'll do this again this coming Thursday at the same time there. All right, I got some stuff to
And
take
then
care
Monday
of.
we'll do festivals.
Absolutely, there's a lot of them we want to get to. The good, the bad, and the outright ugly.
Yeah.
Absolutely there. All right, for YR, Keith Rabarber, Arknolia Strokabine, and myself, you guys have yourself a great Monday evening.
All right.
And support Firebird. Give that man some help. He's back in my home state of Michigan, homeless. He needs a lot of
Yes.
help
Did you
in
see
this.
that, Brad?
Yes, I saw that. I heard about that on. I listened to that on the late Saturday night when Drew dropped that bombshell. Gosh, I always have three words to everybody out there who's in the public media, whether it's a singer, actor, political figure, YouTuber, streamer, whichever. Support your supporters, okay? They're the ones who put you on that pedestal. They're the ones who put you in that high pinnacle that you now reside in. Get back to the community. Even if the
I
community
didn't even
didn't
look.
get.
I had zero interactions with the guy, but I was listening to that, and I didn't even know like they had a bunch of donations come in. So right when I heard that, just my instincts was, all right, let's go live. And I wasn't trying to copy them or nothing, but we raised a little bit, a couple hundred for him. And I
Good.
got that sent to Drew right away.
Good.
That
Glad to
morning.
hear.
So we
That's
helped
good.
hustle up some. Yeah, and I don't even know the guy. So like at the end of the day, bro,
Yeah,
like
but still, but that was
the
still
community
being.
is our second family, Brown. It really
Yeah,
is our second family.
absolutely there. You know, I even tweeted out, send my love support to the guy there. I mean, like, either way, being homeless sucks ass. I mean, like, especially around this time back in Michigan where it's snow, it's bitterly cold, you
Right.
know, and it's sad. It's absolutely sad. It's like, let me give you some examples. Metallica. I saw this on Facebook. There was a meme about this. James Hetfield meets a young boy who needs a new prosthetic legs. He was in a wheelchair, and it shows him talking, and the meme says Hetfield later paid out of his pocket to have new prosthetic legs for this boy. That's a very good thing, good deed right there. Yeah, and of course, you
Yeah.
remember last year they had the All Within My Hands concert marathon. Every Monday evening, they would stream their various concerts back from '83 to '86 to 2007, 2008, and all the donations would pile in left and right and would go to a thing called Feeding America. So buying food and supporting all the families that were hit hard by the COVID-19 pandemic. You know, because there was a lot of people that were unable to get outside, you know, to go grocery shopping, let alone go back to work so they could go grocery shopping there. So Metallica came to the rescue for that. For many months, they did Metallica Mondays on YouTube and Facebook, and the compliments, the donations will just fly through the roof. You know, I don't know how much they raised, but you know, either way, you know, give back to the people who gave to you. And I guess
Right.
Metallica also did a benefit to help fight pediatric cancer, I guess.
Or pancreatic cancer.
Patriotic cancer. Yes, thank you very much. I got to
Yeah,
work on.
pancreatic cancer would be kind of weird.
I know it's that. Remember, my pronunciation of some words is just like, you know, I got to work on
Oh,
that a
that's
lot.
okay.
But then again, you got to remember, we grew up with basic words, you know, and I know Dave Rose
Right.
would probably encourage me to start learning how to pronounce some of these longer words and other words and such, you know, which I completely plan on doing there. All right. Okay, so we will see you this coming Thursday evening.
Thursday.
Thursday evening or Thursday. And you guys have a good one, all right? And I will
And then
see
Brown, we're doing this complaint department show after this little drama show. If you want to join in
you.
with
I
us,
will. I will join later on after
dive into the Cronin stuff a little bit more.
Absolutely. I got a lot to say about that, man. I mean,
Yes.
so some of the things I have to say, just what I just mentioned, but there still need to be more to address there.
Oh,
When they
yeah,
get
yeah,
done
yeah.
with some of this, what I have to do now, I will definitely join in on the call for Shizzle.
All right, brother.
All right.